Well, we continue keeping you company this Ramadan as we head towards the time of iftar in Johannesburg, which will be at around 6 o'clock. But there's still two issues we need to talk about this afternoon. One, are we talking about the tobacco bill, and to understand why is government dragging its heels over this bill? And we are going across now to be joined by Peter Ucko, who is the CEO of the Tobacco, Alcohol and Gambling Advisory. Peter, good afternoon to you and welcome to this show.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
Peter, well, it is clear that, we're talking about this bill and we know that we're going back now to 2022 and there seems to be a problem because this bill was approved to go to cabinet in 2022, still hasn't been passed, and there are concerns that are being raised and also questions being asked as to why is this bill or these amendments are not being passed.
Well, let's first correct the date. This bill was first published in 2015. It was then changed to such a large degree because the first publication was really a bad document. It was changed dramatically, including the name, and then it was republished in 2022. So we lost a number of years there. And now it's 2024, and the problem is, whilst there have been a number of public hearings, which the government has to do, we're now in election time, and everything is on the back burner. Nothing's happening about the bill. I doubt that there'll be any public hearings in the next 2-3 months until after the elections. And then we'll have new committees. And those committees will have to start almost all over again. Although the records are there, they will have to start ab initio, thinking about the whole bill and the input from the public.
Peter, what could the possible reasons be because of the delay? Like you mentioned, 2015, we're into 2024, 9 years. We're going to an election year. Before we know what's happening, we're going to be looking at much more longer time before this bill is passed. What are some of the issues playing out in the background?
Well, some of the reasons are that many of the parliamentarians and elected officials are not particularly focused on tobacco control. They forget how many people are killed by tobacco every year. And it's extraordinary. Also, what happens, and I have no proof or evidence of this, but we know there's a lot of tobacco industry interference. In fact, there's an index that is drawn up every year of all the countries around the world, and you can go and have a look at the South African index, which has got a little bit worse. So the tobacco industry interference in the whole process is one of the factors that holds us back. But I think the other one is parliamentary and elected official interests. They just don't realize how many people are being killed by tobacco every year. As we sit here and talk for 5 minutes, another 10 people are going to die. It's crazy. And it's a human right. Salam Media is talking about humanity. Being in a smoke-free environment and having our health and our lives protected is an absolute human rights issue.
Yes. Peter, what is the bill actually calling for?
Oh, a number of things. First of all, graphic health warnings, and not just words for health warnings, but pictures, so that we can tell the truth about the harms of smoking. And there's other health warnings, health messages, but allowing pictures. There's a few other things that will be incorporated, such as banning advertising and sponsorship, which is already banned, but it has to go the next step and banning all sponsorship, advertising, and promotions of tobacco products. Have to take more control of illicit tobacco products and make sure that there's no kind of underhanded sponsorship like at universities, at orphanages, and all sorts of places, and particularly at political party level. That's it in a nutshell.
Yes.
But graphic health warnings, I think, is the big one, and totally banning all advertising. Oh, hiding display. I mean, that's part of the advertising process of the tobacco industry, but hiding displays at retail. So you'll no more see these huge displays in supermarkets and shops and spazas, but they can have a book available with the names of the brands and the prices. No displays.
Yes.
Because they are triggers to smoking.
Peter, I think, obviously we're talking about cigarettes, but what about e-cigarettes? Because there's a market that's growing as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's part of a major part of this new bill is to control electronic devices. And so that's what's part of the name change. And electronic nicotine and non-nicotine delivery systems. So those vaping devices, which really deliver nicotine to your system, will be controlled as well. That's a vital part of it because the science is very clear. Those products are harmful. Vaping devices, and by the way, I don't like the name vaping. It's a term created by the industry to make it sound almost fun. George, let's go and vape. Or what's your favorite vaping flavors? And that's one thing we got to take care of because some young people, particularly young people, start vaping and then convert to combustible cigarettes because they feel they need more nicotine, because that's a drug. As soon as you're addicted to nicotine, you're going to need more and more. And so they convert from using these electronic devices to combustible cigarettes. That's a major part of the new bill. It's also a major part of misunderstanding of elected officials and members of parliament and so on that we need to clarify for them, because the industry claims that they are less harmful than smoking cigarettes. But the truth is they are not harmless. They are definitely harmful.
Yes. Peter, just finally, what more can you do as the CEO of and the organization as well? What more can you do in the absence of this bill still out in limbo, for want of a better term?
Well, what we can do is monitor tobacco industry interference, and there is quite a lot of it, assist the government with information on illicit trade, which happens around all over. And there we work with an organization called REAP at the University of Cape Town. And there are a number of organizations that work together to expose the industry, to tell the truth about these electronic devices, the dangers of the electronic devices, so that we keep telling the truth to the community, so that they aren't misled by the industry who will give you bogus research, such as, yes, the vaping is safer, but it's not safe. It's harmless or less harmful, but it's harmful. We know that. And my argument always is, if you were standing on the freeway and you were hit by, let's say, a small motor car doing 60 kilometers an hour, or you were hit by a 25-ton truck doing 100 kilometers an hour, which would you be less dead? And so both combustible cigarettes and the electronic devices are hugely dangerous killer products.
Well, Peter, we're going to leave it at that. Obviously, we will watch your space, but for now, we thank you. We do appreciate you taking time out, talking to us right here on Salam Media this afternoon.
Thank you. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Peter Ucko, CEO of Tobacco Gambling and Advisory Board, joining us this afternoon. And with that, we're going to go for a quick break. We come back, we'll be joined Mufti Abdullah Dokrat. We talk